Welcome to the Connect with BMC Helix ITSM webinar series. During today's event, you're able to ask questions of our panelists. The questions and answers, along with today's broadcast recording, will be published to our YouTube channel a week from today's date. Today's topic is large query reports best practices, and we have Alan Medina to take us through this content. Over to you, Alan.
Thank you, Greg. Hello, everyone. My name is Alan Medina. I am a Staff Support Analyst at BMC Software. I work with Remedy Smart Reporting product and Smart Reporting product line. This webinar is focused on the best practices for running large query reports on Smart Reporting. This is the agenda of the webinar. We'll have an overview of the application, what to consider when creating a report, prerequisites to run large query reports using broadcast for long query reports, and our troubleshooting guide. Let's start with an overview of Remedy Smart Reporting. These are the core components. We have the AR system, then we have a source connection, then we have a view, a report, and finally a dashboard and a storyboard. The Remedy Smart Reporting tool is a business intelligence software. It allows the creation of reports with a single drag and drop action. What should be considered when creating a report? First, we need to design and remember that Remedy Smart Reporting is a business intelligence software and not an ETL tool. What is the purpose of the report? To who it will be delivered? Who will read the report? Always have in mind the specific audience of it. Which information should contain, which data is necessary and which not. Remember to always include only the necessary data. Reports should have concise information and should be easy to read. It should not contain large amount of columns and rows. Remember to always use the necessary filters to bring only the required data on the report. If after reviewing the points mentioned above, the need of a report with many rows is still necessary, the application needs to be prepared to be able to run large queries. In order to prepare the Remedy Smart Reporting application to be able to run large query reports, we need to apply the following steps. Increase the Java heap size, which is a Tomcat configuration. Increase the AR API timeout, which is also a Tomcat configuration. Increase the rowLimit, which is a Smart Reporting admin console configuration, and disable new RLS implementation on the AR system configuration. Now we will demonstrate how to increase the Java heap size memory. First, we need to stop the service of the Smart Reporting application. Once it is stopped, we will navigate to the Smart Reporting installation directory. This will depend if you have an external Tomcat or a bundled Tomcat. In this case, I have a bundled Tomcat. The only difference is if you have an external, the Smart Reporting will be located on the Apache installation directory, and if you have a bundle, it will be located under the BMC software and under the AR system. Once we are here, we will need to go to App Server and go to the bin directory. Here you will notice that you have all the Tomcat configuration files. After this, we will need to open a command prompt and run it as an admin. Once we have the command prompt, we will need to copy the location of the Tomcat configuration files and open the location. Once we are here, we will need to run a command which is as follows. You will need to put Tomcat. This will depend on the version. If you have version 8 or 9, you will need to put the version of it. In this case, I have Tomcat 8. We'll put a W and a .exe. We'll hit space. We'll put // capital S, capital ES, / again, and we'll put the name of the smart porting service. This will open the Tomcat configuration, and for this we will need to go to the Java tab. Here you will have all the Java configurations. What we need to increase will be the Java heap size. Our recommendation, a smart porting should have its own server, dedicated server. We recommend, for let's say an example, if your server have 16 gigabytes of RAM, we would recommend for half of that memory to be for the smart porting service and the other half for the operating system. Okay, so in this case, if we can increase it as an example to 4 gigs. Okay, you can hit apply and OK. After this, you can start your smart porting service. For a Linux server, it would be the same exact steps. The only difference is, okay, you go to the same location on the Linux server, to the app server and bin directory, and here you will find the Catalina.sh. Here you can modify this file or open it with the BI editor, and you will locate the Java_ops options that will have the initial and the max Java heap size. You can modify this on the Linux server as required and as we recommend. Afterwards, you can just save the file and start the smart porting service. To increase the AR API timeout in smart porting, you will need to do the following. First, we need to stop the smart porting service. Once the service is stopped, we will need to go to the Tomcat directory. In this case, if you have an external Tomcat, it will be located under Apache installation directory, and if you have a bundle, it will be in the BMC software, Air System, and Smart Porting directory. Either way, you will need to go to the app server and go to the bin directory. Here you can copy the location and open a command prompt. We recommend to open the command prompt as an administrator. Once you have the command prompt, go to that location. Once you're on this location, you will need to open the Tomcat configuration. This will depend if you have Tomcat 8, Tomcat 9, or any version of the Tomcat. For that, you will need to put the following command. Tomcat, in this case it's XWXE space /ES in capitals / and the service name of smart porting. Once you have the properties of the Tomcat, go to the Java tab, and here under the Java options we will add the parameter for the AR API timeout. I will copy the parameter, which is dash the AR API timeouts equals here we will have three values: the short, the medium, and the long calls. We can change this as required. If it's going to be a really long query, we will recommend to leave everything as set for a long call, which would be 1800 for each of the values. Once you have applied that, you can apply the change, hit OK, and start back again the service. If you're doing this for a Linux server, it's almost the exact same steps. You will need to go to the same directory on the Linux server and open the catalina.sh file. You can open it with a BI editor, and here we will need to identify the Java ops. In this case, you can identify the line that has the minimum and maximum Java heap size as an example. Underneath that, we're going to put a parameter which is almost exactly as the one above, which is Java underscore ops equals to double colon $, Java underscore ops dash the AR API timeouts equals to the short, the medium, and the long calls, and double quotes. Here you can use as necessary, as these are records showed in seconds. Okay. Once that is changed, you can save in the BI directory and start your service again for that change to take effect on your Linux server as well. Now, to increase the row limit, this needs to be done in the Smart Porting admin console. So for that, we will need to open a browser and log in to mid-tier with an Smart Porting admin user. We will need to open Smart Porting. Once it is opened, we will need to navigate to the menu, go to Administration, and hit Admin Console. Once we are in the Admin Console, we will need to go to Data Sources and open the AR System connection. Now, we will go to Connection Settings Scroll down to custom parameters. And here we will need to add the following. We will need to add the following at the end. Row it's row with lowercase, then capital L, rowLimit equals, and you can put your expected number. As for this example, we'll put 10,000. After this, you can scroll up and save the change. And the change has been done. This will now take effect on the next time you run a report. Now we have the parameter of rowLimit in Smart Reporting. But if nothing is set there on Smart Reporting will take the rowLimit that is set in the AR system. As an example, I will show you where. You log in with an AR system administrator and open the AR system administration console. You go to System, General, and Server Information. Here you can see that we have all the configuration. Now go to the Configuration tab, and where you have the value of max entries returned by getList, this is the default limit of Smart Reporting. Only if there is nothing set in the Smart Reporting admin console. Once you set up the value in Smart Reporting, that value will be overwritten by the one that you have put on the data source connection in Smart Reporting. So once you have put the value on the connection settings under the custom parameters, this will overwrite the AR system configuration. This will now be your rowLimit in Smart Reporting queries. Okay, now to disable the new RLS implementation configuration, we'll need to log in into the AR system with an AR system administrator. We'll need to go to the AR system administrator and the AR system administration console. Once we are in the console, we will need to go to System, General, and we will need to open the centralized configuration. Once we are here, under the component name, we'll open the server.shared configuration, which is the following: server.shared. Once we are here, we will need to add the parameter. We will click on Add, and we will type disable dash new dash RLS dash implementation. Please notice that we have disable with a capital D, new with a capital N, RLS all in capitals, and the I in capital in implementation. And the value for that will be set to true or to false. In this case, we're going to set it to true to disable it. Once we hit apply, we'll be able to see the new parameter in place. And this is all you have to do for the new RLS implementation. Using broadcast for long query reports. This is the best option that we recommend if you want to run a long query report that you broadcast into a specific format that could be a PDF or an Excel. Okay, so these are the 4 things that we need to consider. The amount of broadcasts. You will need to coordinate the people that have access to schedule a broadcast. All users with content writer role will have the option to set up a broadcast. It's important to keep a limit to the amount of broadcasts that are scheduled. The amount of broadcasts that are supported will depend on how big the reports are and the amount of computing resources allocated in SmartPoding and the AR system servers. Also, we need to keep in mind on the broadcast frequency. It is possible to have a report being sent every 5 minutes. However, that would have the report refreshing every 5 minutes. This will generate a constant load to the servers that could affect the performance of the console. It is recommended to run a broadcast 1 or 2 times a day, not more. Also, we have the broadcast concurrency. When selecting the time when the broadcast will run, it's important to keep in mind other broadcasts that might be running at the same time. If there is already a broadcast running at that time, then space it out by 15 minutes. That way, it will give it time to allocate enough resources to each task. Also, the scheduling time frame. It's recommended to schedule broadcasts out of office times. For example, having broadcasts run early in the morning before the standard users start accessing the console. Now we will demonstrate how to create a broadcast. For this example, we'll go to Alan, go to Application, and open SmartPoding. Once we have SmartPoding open, we will need to choose a report. We'll open this report. If you can see, we have all the information. And to create the broadcast, you will see the options at the top, and you will click the one that says Broadcast. To create a new one, you will click on Create New Broadcast. Here you will select all the recipients that you want for the broadcast. You can put a subject, a body for it, and you can choose the format of the broadcast. It could be an HTML, a PDF, a CSV, a Word file, an Excel, or a text. For this test, I will choose Excel. If you want, you can append the broadcast date as well. Now you can select the frequency of that broadcast. You will have a lot of options for it. You can click on daily, and you can select at what time do you want that broadcast to be ran. You can select it to run at 5 a.m. every time, And you can also enable the failure notifications to deliver to a certain group. Now, click on Save, and the broadcast has been created. You can also check the broadcast status if you go to Administration and go to Schedule Management. Here it will show all the broadcasts that has been created. You can edit it, pause it, or run it directly. If you run it now, you will get the report and the attachment of it. This is a good way to verify all the status of the broadcast and if you have any failures of them. The last topic of this webinar is about troubleshooting guides that were created by BMC support. This information can be found on the troubleshooting section at the top level of the product documentation page, and it is based on commonly raised support issues. I will present some of them. When troubleshooting an issue, the first thing we need to do is identify the error. We will review some of the common errors that we see when a long query report is run. For example, we have the error 92. It says timeout during database update when trying to run reports in Smart Reporting. This means that Smart Reporting is reaching its timeout on the AR system level. To resolve this, we will need to increase the AR API timeout as required. Also, we can run into this kind of errors. Error running report, out of memory error, Java heap size, space. You can find this error in the Smart Reporting logs, and the cause of it is that we have insufficient memory allocated. The solution of it is to increase the Java heap size memory on the Tomcat configuration. Here you can find the references, hyperlinks that cover all the information that we discussed on this webinar. On this webinar, we have reviewed the best practices for large queries reports, the considerations when creating a report using broadcast, and our troubleshooting guide. That concludes our presentation. Back to you, Greg.
Thank you. And now I'll take us through the self-help in contacting BMC. The YouTube channel where this webinar will be posted is listed here. It contains past webinars as well as a rich set of how-to videos. The Connect with BMC Helix ITSM and Remedy webinar schedule is available at this community's link, and the Hot Off the Press newsletter for trending information is available at this community's post. As always, contacting technical support via web, phone, email, and these social channels is available. At this time, that will conclude this webinar. Thank you for attending.